What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second session of our new series, Activate. And if you haven't seen the first section in this series, that will be linked right up here, so make sure you go check it out. Essentially, we learned that we all have guilt. We discovered that we all have guilt, and our tendency is to let it deactivate our faith and our relationship with God. But it really doesn't have to. And to hear all the good stories that come along with that, make sure you go check out last week's video. But for this week, we're going to talk about something else that we all experience, and that is doubt. In science, there are a lot of unknowns, just like in every area of life. And like we've seen over the past few months with this pandemic, people can doubt science when it proves to be a little off. With faith, the same thing can happen when one thing is just cast into doubt. It can make us doubt everything else that we believe. And in high school, my faith was really shallow. And when one thing I believed was thrown into doubt, it felt like my faith was just crumbling and falling around me. And even though doubt is totally normal, it can be scary because if we don't handle it in a healthy way, it can make us feel like our faith is deactivated. And whether it's a small comment that someone makes or someone makes a big deal out of something and it causes you to doubt, that can make our faith seem a little wobbly. It can make us feel like we're believing the wrong things, and that can send us down a pretty deep spiral. And the truth is, feelings like doubt, questions, uncertainty aren't unusual when it comes to faith. And why is that? Well, it's because faith can be really hard to figure out sometimes. And I know that seems foreign to us because we talk about how we want you to be sure of your faith. But it's true that it's common to have doubts. And even I have doubts. But there's a really cool part to this, and here it is. Doubt and faith don't have to be opposites. And last time we talked about Peter, who was a big follower of Jesus, and how his overzealous nature seems to come back to bite him. And don't get me wrong, Peter's faith is the kind of faith that I want. But just like you and me, he messes up sometimes. In this story, Peter and the other disciples were taking a boat ride across the Sea of Galilee, a huge lake that's located in Israel. Jesus had climbed a mountain to pray. He told the disciples he would catch up with them later. And they probably assumed that, they'd catch up on land. But, Matthew recounts the story this way. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said. And they cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." That's in Matthew chapter 14. Now, Peter, in a pretty characteristic kind of way, doesn't think too much before saying, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." And Jesus says, "Come." Now, this is the kind of faith that I want. No wondering if it's financially beneficial, no worries about health, not questioning the science of it all. Just get out of the boat and walk, which is exactly what Peter did until he didn't. Because Peter noticed a wave in the lake and he took his eyes off of Jesus. And then he freaks out, which is, normal. But immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You have little faith," he said. "Why did you doubt?" And see, Jesus is right there. Jesus is right there watching Peter doubt him. And he says to him, "Why did you doubt?" And even though Peter did doubt, Jesus still reached out his hand to save him. I know we're all encountering some pretty strong doubts right now. But our doubts don't have to drown our faith. And the best way to keep your head above water when it comes to doubts is to keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. And you may be asking, how do I keep my eyes on Jesus? Well, make a list and use it. And pray when you don't feel like it. Reach out to someone when you're struggling. And something small like enabling notifications on the verse of the day in the Bible app can help you stay connected. Because doubt only deactivates our faith and begins to overwhelm us when we try to handle it ourselves and we try to keep it from Jesus. Because no matter where we are in our journey with God, we're all going to experience doubt. But it doesn't have to drown our faith, and it doesn't have to overwhelm us. And having no doubts is not the answer, because doubt can actually grow your faith and make your relationship with God stronger. But doubt can also drown your faith. if you take your eyes off of Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you stay connected during this series, and that if you have any questions, you'll reach out to me. Don't forget to subscribe and to enable notifications so you don't miss whenever we post again. I'll see you guys next week at 6 o'clock.